Here's another episode of Shnerd Bites, episode 5, and another movie review, which I have to go back and clip the Mortal Kombat review. I just remembered I need to clip that into the clip and put that into the movie reviews
You
too.
should. You should.
The one that we did the beginning of last month. But I just want to dive right into this one. And so we're talking shit. I don't even know what the fuck the movie's called.
Tomorrow War. The Tomorrow War.
The Tomorrow War. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Chris Pratt's in it.
Let me
The
look
girl
up.
from Dexter's in it.
Yeah, Hannah, the one we always call
Hannah.
The other one, Lumen.
We actually mix her up with Lumen.
Yeah,
Who else is in that bad boy?
So I got the cast up right here. That his wife, Betty Glippin, Chris Pratt's wife. I've never seen her before. Or anything.
Either have I.
J.K. Simmons is in it.
Oh yeah, J.K. Simmons. That's the other big name in it.
Did you know Theo Vaughn was in it?
I seem to remember his face at one point, like as a cameo or something.
I think he was
like on the TV or something.
Okay, the Marilyn. So while I bring this up, let's get the fucking movie plot out of the way real quick. So this storyline is super simple, very basic, nothing crazy about it. The only crazy thing about it is the time travel, even then it's not that fucking crazy. Simple story. Everybody who gets sent into the future war dies before the future war happens. Chris Pratt obviously is one of those people, goes into the future, and there's these like what would you call them, like fucking
they were called the White Spikes.
The White Spikes. But what how would you describe them? Like
they're like they're kind of like they're like hive mentality creatures with like two tentacles on the back, and the tentacles shoot out these spikes. And they're basically,
it kind of reminds me of the spikes from what's that gun from Halo that the brutes use,
the Needler.
Not the Needler, the
I
think it's actually called like the Spiker or something like that. But
yeah,
you know what I'm
it
talking
is.
about?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly. I can't remember the name. I know what you're talking about.
But that's what I like. That's what they use. That's what kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, they but it's in their body. It's a part of their body.
Yeah. They're not like
and I do
walking around with people. And
I'm not gonna jump around. I'm gonna let you kind of take this at the speed you want. I did want to bring up something when we get to more in the story about the CGI with the spikes. But I'll go there later. I'll get there later.
Like I said,
I won't forget.
This is a simple movie. Like there's literally no like, I mean, you could, whoever wrote this probably had like just a basic premise of like on like 10 pages, if that, you know what I mean? Because it's literally, there's a war that's happening in the future that we're losing or keep on losing in every timeline or whatever, and then people from the future come back to the past and bring people, you know, students, ex-military, teachers, just regular ass people, no matter what your background is. If you die before the war happens, they send you into the future to die.
Yeah.
And long and behold, Chris Pratt.
But they end up having to find that out for everybody to know. But that's not a spoiler, just so everybody knows. You find it out within like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. Has a rocky history with his dad. And you know what I mean? Just there's the comedic relief and everything, but they go into the future, they find the cure, he comes back, they end up, he takes things into his own hands, goes into the alien base, wherever it was, which we'll explain more. I'm just telling the premise. And he stops everything and everything's good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and it ends
that's pretty much the story.
And like the old time and the original timeline fixes the new one. Is basically the premise. Like it's I do want to say the problem with this is they did this at a time when Marvel is just constantly jumping around with the,
funny enough, with Chris Pratt too on it.
Yeah, with the time travel stuff, and I'm like super tired of seeing that. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of the
No, I know what you mean. We'll talk about that next, but yeah.
Oh, I know who. Okay, I recognize Betty Gilpin now. I recognize that picture. I also see Sam Richardson and Edwin Hodge. Those are two.
This dude's definitely famous. I don't know about this guy. And then this was the guy in the future that was best friends with the future daughter, or like the commanders. He was not fleshed out at all. He was just a little
side character.
Yeah, and these two were pretty much the main characters. She was the future daughter, and then pretty much everybody on this panel besides these two are in the future. or like go into the future.
Yeah.
And so this is the chick I was talking about. But what's funny though is this chick is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and there's this thing where they're like, "It's Gail the snail," and then she's like, "They're like, oh, we gotta salt the snail. Let's get out of here, snail." Forever in my mind, she's Gail the snail. So when I saw her in this, I just thought it was hilarious.
You're talking about Mary Lynn, right?
Yeah, this chick right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. Yes, I actually liked her character in that bigger dude's character, the big dude.
Which one?
The guy with the beard. He was like kind of
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
pansy. He dies
Died
under
in
the
the-
bridge.
Oh no, it's not
Him
him.
right there, Keith Brooks.
Is that him? I
I think that's him.
think you're right.
Yeah,
Damn,
Keith
a lot of
Brooks.
people got credited for this, huh? Well, there was kind of a lot of people.
Yeah, and there you could tell that this was gonna help people like start up a lot of people's careers because Chris Pratt was in it.
Yeah, a lot of the people are probably just like extras that were just like, huh?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
They're in the background and they die. I mean, it was what when you first watch it. Let's not totally like crap all over this movie. When you first watch it, were you at least entertained at all? Like, did you go, oh, that killed an hour and a half or whatever it was?
Well, last night when I texted you, because
Yeah.
I saw that it was available, I started watching it. So I started watching it. I mind people, I watched this at like 12
I've seen
o'clock,
that.
like 12:10.
Yeah.
So like I didn't end up finishing watching it until like almost like 2:30, like 3
Mm.
o'clock. So I was just, I mean, I sat and watched it, but I was just like kind of like, oh, like tired and shit. But it was entertaining to a very like a point, like a very tippy tip point.
Yeah.
It's just like we had like some conversations off camera, and you were saying that the acting, which I totally fucking agree, was very like it wasn't bad, but it was just so like Chris Pratt. I have to say this: Chris Pratt is a very one-trick pony,
Dude, he's the
or
same guy.
two-trick pony, I should say.
He's the same guy in
He's
everything.
either super funny or he's the fucking like a super serious guy, and even then, he's still like
Awkward.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I agree. The acting in it. Well, I do want to say I don't want to go completely like I do want to say a positive about it first. It entertained me for what little it offered.
yeah.
It entertained me. It's a good watch. In fact, not tomorrow, not the next day, but sometime down the line, I will rewatch that movie for shits and giggles. Like,
I mean, tomorrow's
So-
4th of July, and it just came out today or last night or whatever. So
yeah, like
fucking,
last night, yeah.
so it's a good movie to sit and watch with the family. If
Yeah, and
if you're gonna watch it by yourself, it's probably a pass.
Yeah, and I like the storyline on paper. I executed though it wasn't executed well, but yes, the story is cool because I'm a sci-fi fan.
So I'm gonna
like,
say something, but I want to say this later once we talk about everything. But plot holes, bro. I want to talk about the plot holes real quick. Fucking so. What I hated, I mean, fuck, not plot holes really. Here's one of the negative things. I like everything was so predictable.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So like that dude who always carried around the little spike.
yeah,
He's like, there ain't never no heroes. I'm gonna die anyway, so I'm gonna come out to the future. There ain't never no heroes. You never just try to be a hero. You just fucking survive. And then at the end, he was like, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna die a fucking hero. And I was just like, oh my god. And then when he meets the daughter, it's like the chick. She's like talking to him, and she's like, good. I can't wait to see you. I brought you out here myself. And I was like, okay, that's the fucking daughter from. It's just so predictable. It's just,
I felt the same way about the monsters. Before I seen them, I knew what to expect. I was like, these things are gonna like have like some kind of like rapid fire something, and like they're gonna be damn. Somebody is going crazy.
I
on
hear that
fireworks
shit,
right
dude.
now, bro. Like nutty. Gonzo is not fucking happy.
but get him headphone or earphones.
I know.
or
Put some headphones with some piano music.
whatever.
But nah, dude. So since we're there, so some of the CGI in the movie isn't bad. A lot of it is horrible.
Yeah.
I have a really good example of one, and I watched it and I had to pause and rewind it to make sure I seen what I seen. And I was like, this is who the fuck okayed this scene? That scene when they're running before the bombs drop on all the white spikes.
Yeah.
Okay. When they're running, if you pay attention, there are thousands of spikes coming at them. And if you look at the animation, they all run into each character.
So it kind of like goes through them in a way.
Yeah, you see the spikes, but the actors are not interacting with them.
Oh my
They're just running,
God.
and but all the spikes are coming, and you can literally see the angles. Like somebody fucked up and didn't like make the spikes go past them. Instead, they
Oh
just go
shit. See, I
to
didn't
them and
catch that.
disappear. And I was like, this is garbage. Like I had to stop myself a few times and like rewind and go, did I see that?
What I hated too about with some of the CG, since we're talking about it, is there's a few parts, especially when they first introduce them, the monsters, whatever what are they called?
White spikes.
The white spikes. They would do self shots, meaning so it would just be the monster in itself, and then it would change camera angles or change the scene, and everybody. So the monster to be like, "Rawr, rawr," like kind of like acting like it was gonna attack, and then go back to them. They're like, oh, you know what I mean? And I hated that. I hated how there wasn't the same reaction. Oh, there they go. Now they're going off. I hated how they didn't. I hated how they didn't have like.
Yeah, the white spikes. I had to verify it. The white spikes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just hated how it had to switch camera angles. You know what I mean? It had to switch.
Dude, yeah.
I was like, so somebody literally just sat in their camera or whatever, like in a fucking gondola, and was just like, boom, and just filled that. Somebody was just like, okay, I'm gonna put the fucking monster here, and then we're just gonna have their reactions. And there's barely any like interactions with the monsters and the people. You know what I mean?
No, there was. I can only think of one real one. Or sorry, I can think of two.
The queen, right?
Well, I wasn't even counting that because they never really come into contact until they start injecting or getting her blood samples.
Yeah.
But what the two examples I was gonna give was one, when Chris Pratt starts hitting the thing with the axe in the hallway.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And that was, to me, I seen that and I was like, it's like they didn't do the puppet work or whatever was that object he couldn't interact with properly. And then the other one was at the end when the dude used the saw in the snow cave or in the ice cave.
He was like, I fucking got him. I don't know how to reload my weapon or fucking turn off my safety, but
no, dude, I think he forgot to load it.
He was trying to turn off the safety, and then he ended up taking out the fucking cartridge. He was like,
"Oh, that's not good." Yeah, that's not. I think he made
comedic relief, which I don't know why they needed for this movie.
I think you're right, actually. But I do want to say another example of really bad CGI was when they're in the very beginning of the movie, when everybody's having the house party and they're watching the block party and they're watching the soccer game.
Yeah, by the way, like, who the fuck does that here in America?
Yeah, that was,
unless they're in Canada or some shit, or like
I don't. It would have made sense if everybody there was ex-military, because then they had been stationed overseas, and that would have been all for some people to do. Like, but it was very strange. But the CGI scene that I'm talking about is, dude, when this scene happened, I almost turned off the movie, but I was intrigued by the story, so I watched it. When they're playing the football, and they first arrive and the portal opens and everybody for some reason is running out of the portal.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. But yet when you train new soldiers, you just drop them 10 to 20 feet off the ground.
Well, I don't know if you remember, they said something I don't know. They had like, oh, it's a malfunction. It was like real quick. Like you had to have like, it was probably like a second.
No, like, I remember they were like, wait, what just happened?
They're like, it was a malfunction. Should I keep on sending them? And they're like, yeah.
But no, but
and you see them all falling from the fucking sky.
Do you remember before the malfunction happened, what they told them? They were like, we're able to drop you at least 5 to 10 feet above the ground.
Okay, no, I didn't. I must have missed that part.
Yeah, so
I just saw the part where they're like, if there's a malfunction, should we keep on going? They're like, yeah, which is fucking stupid because you just killed literally like
hell of
90% of everybody you just sent to the future.
Yeah, dude, there was like 100 people there, and by the end of it, there was like 10.
Like, not even, because it was like Chris Pratt,
his battalion. Like
yeah,
his
the dude that kept there's only like 3 or 4. Like
yeah, there was one squad left. Like. But no, dude.
And they sent, like you said, they sent like fucking 300 people in the future.
Yeah, man. Like, but that scene when they get onto the soccer field and they're running out of the portal, dude, my first thought was, you are completely and utterly on a safety harness running in the air right now, and I can see
Oh,
it.
dude, no, I know what you're talking about now.
Uh,
When she first, she's like, and she does like a weird walk, like she's walking down fake steps or
yeah,
something.
dude, yeah, because she's in a harness in the air and she's pretending, and
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
I
you
remember
can
that part now.
you
Yeah,
can always tell
literally in the
when
first 5 minutes.
yeah, you can always tell when somebody's on those things when they're doing that, because when you take a step on solid ground, your foot does like an impression into the ground based on how your arch in your foot is. But when you're just running in air, it
You
looks
just,
like how she did
yeah,
it, where there is no pressure. She's pretending, and it's like this looks like a seriously bad joke, you
yeah.
know? But those were my two
Well,
moments for me with the CGI, the
if
spike scene and that.
well, my favorite moments with the CGI was at the very end where they started attacking the base
You
at
said
the
your
and
favorite?
yeah, this is my
Oh,
favorite.
I was gonna say my least. I said my least favorite, but yeah, your
Well,
favorite.
yeah,
Okay.
I said my least favorite too, but I was just was one CGI moment that I thought that was actually pretty badass was the end where they're going through the water and climbing over the fucking, which was such a stupid ass fucking cop out just to fucking have somebody die, just to have the daughter die. The
Oh, dude, you're
fucking
talking about all the monsters.
yeah, because apparently they could fucking swim thousands of miles into the fucking ocean within
And hear
seconds.
and hear her from thousands of miles. Hear the
Which
queen from a thousand.
I guess the sound maybe would make sense
I
because
mean, it worked in Super Zack Snyder's Justice League in the beginning when
but the
Superman
fact that
died.
they like she did it, she was like, "Rrrr," and literally like she called them all, and then literally like within minutes,
Like five, yeah, like
they're
10
already in the
minutes.
fucking middle of the Atlantic
Yeah,
Ocean, bro, or whatever.
they just been resting, bro,
I
chilling.
know, right?
Well,
So, but
it, it
despite all that stupid stuff, that was my favorite scene when it showed them climbing over the walls and stuff. And
okay. I was gonna say one of my favorite scenes. It wasn't that one, but it was one that happened minutes later. Was when the daughter in the future dies and
mm,
she's falling. The cinematography of her falling into all the monsters grabbing her. It wasn't that it was awesomely done to perfection, but it just reminded me of the early 2000s when CGI just started to get good.
yeah,
And like when she was falling and all the fire and the red and she's falling into it and you know she's going to get killed and eaten by these monsters. She's already fucked up
pretty much
anyways,
dead. Yeah,
but that scene was like, to me, I was like, oh, that's dope looking. Like they matched the lighting really good. It looked awesome. I was like, man, you can tell she's again just falling on a harness.
yeah.
But I just really liked how they set that scene up. So I agree. For me, the idea that we never even talked about our favorite scenes, but our favorite scenes are towards the same part of the movie.
Right.
I would say that is a good example
Honestly, probably
of
the most action based besides the first, after like I think it was like the end of the first act or the start of the second act.
yeah.
You know what
That
I
I
mean?
just
When
I
they go
just think
back, or sorry, when they first meet up with when he first meets up with his daughter.
yeah, and it starts to pick up.
Which, dude, okay. Speaking of bad CGI, they did that. Remember how in Loki we were watching it and they were like they went to Pompeii or whatever, Bombay or whatever,
Oh yeah, and the
and then
green screen.
there was literally only like 12 people on set. That's the
Yeah, and
same thing. The same thing they did with
dude,
that when he first shows up. There's like three people. There's like three cars driving around, and then like probably like 30 people on set walking back and forth, and then the background is just all CG. I was
yeah,
like, really?
yeah,
Oh my
dude, it
god, it
drives.
pissed me off.
Yeah, dude, when you start noticing that stuff, me and you talked about this when we watched Loki. A lot of it is our own fault because we do video editing and we have an experience with video editing. So like we're gonna catch those things sometimes, not all the time. But with this movie, I agree. There were like hella green screen scenes,
Yeah.
and like dude, like some of the digital additions that they added, like you could tell that things were like I said, the spike scene, um they it, we what really like was the problem with the movie was like you could actually like the movie a lot more if they had just cleaned up the story and not made it so boom boom, here's this garbage here, and then you're like it left at the
And
end
then the
going
explanations and the talking that you get is literally nothing. So we should, since we're talking about this, we should talk about plot holes, bro. And
yeah,
the biggest plot hole that I fucking found with the whole movie, which pissed me off so much, and they hint at it, and this is what they do with like major Hollywood movies, bro. They're always like, "Oh, this is like somebody's talking about this in the very beginning." And you better pay attention because if you don't pay attention, you're gonna miss it. And in the
yeah,
very beginning, that little nerdy dude in class was like, "Oh, I have a question.
volcanoes.
I have a question." Yeah, and he's like, "I want to talk about volcanoes," and he was like, oh my, everybody got a question besides him. Which I honestly, personally, when I first saw that, I thought it was funny because
Yeah.
everybody in every class you had, there's always that one person that just
Yeah.
fucking talked too much or just always asked questions. But besides that, like that,
Well, I want to say that was a foreshadow moment, like
that's what I
hardcore.
mean.
I,
But it
I I didn't
was
even think about that. You're right.
no, I when I first saw that, I was like, oh, okay, this dude, it's gonna have something to do with the storyline, and this is
Yeah.
what pissed me off because they ended up talking to him later, and he's like, oh, ancient volcanoes, and because when they find out the creatures came from the actually have been here for a while
Yeah.
instead of just crash landing here and just you know what I mean, or
Well,
just
they crash landed here, but it was like thousands of years ago before the ice caps
yeah, but
before they formed.
the people in the movie they thought that they just landed
Yeah.
here out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But what I was like, what the hell is like? So you're telling me this one student just happened to love volcanoes out of 8 billion people that live in
Right.
this world
That's the
couldn't?
guy they went to.
Yeah, all the scientists, all the fucking Neil deGrasse Tysons and Elon Musk and fucking all the geniuses of the world would have thought maybe they have been here.
Yeah.
Nobody thought about that. That
Dude,
made me so mad, dude.
bro,
So mad.
I so agree because the first moment they were like, we're not sure if they when they crash landed here. Now that you say that, I remember my very first thought was they've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is another plot hole it is a plot hole because it's a part of poor writing, but I want to bring it up since we're talking about it. Another plot hole, in my opinion, is the whole idea for them going back to the past apparently was so they could prevent that future from ever happening. Yeah. Why didn't they just fucking tell every soldier that, like, hey, by the way, there is one research facility that has the answer, but we need either the researchers or a queen. And why were they not going for that the whole time? And why were they just randomly dropping soldiers during these fucking creatures hibernation period called
especially if they could send them whenever, if they can send them at any point of time or whatever. See, this is what I thought, and I could be completely wrong, but the way it seems is they did like a linear timeline or a multiple linear timeline. So it's like the Back to the Future, you know what I mean? Like they in Back to the Future, which by the way, if you want to watch a time travel movie, Back to the Future, fucking Terminator, shit, even Endgame, bro, fucking has way better time travel fucking theories and scenarios than this movie. But what I hated was so it was like a linear timeline. And what I was really hoping, and I was like, oh, they're throwing us a curveball, is when he had the conversation with his daughter for like 5 seconds, she's like, you left, you fucking never were the same
on the beach. Yeah.
I was really like, oh shit, like did they because he came back to the future and he was just like hella weird and shit, or came back to the past, sorry, he was hella weird and shit with his wife, and I was like, is that why he never was the same? Because fucking he went to the future and in her time, you know what I mean?
That's like, what I thought.
I was like, oh shit, so it's gonna be a cycle that repeats itself.
Yeah, like there is no that's what I thought, was the movie was gonna end and it was gonna show no matter what, which would have been a way better ending. Yeah, dude, no matter what you do, you cannot change what is written in time. Like it's no matter
Dragon Ball Z has a better, for Cell Saga has a better time travel.
Yeah, dude, and like it's just that was a problem for me too, where I was like, why did they end it like everything is a-okay now? Like,
and then my bad, what I wanted to say though, because I kind of got off track with the little time travel thing, just real quick, I hated it for the expense of the movie because they didn't want to show you the monsters in the very beginning. They're like, oh, we're gonna send you to the future to fight these monsters, but it's too graphic for
you to know what they are.
So I was like, you're really gonna send these people into
war not knowing? Yeah, dude, I was blown away by that too. I was like, yo,
that'd be like taking a bunch of tribes people and then putting them in the army and being like, hey, there's gonna be a bunch of fucking shit out there, it's gonna be crazy, just so you know. And then all of a sudden like drones that they've never seen are flying by and fucking
somebody in a jetpack,
like, fucking tanks and shit, and
they're like, holy shit, these things are
fucking shooting Master Chief out there. No, just kidding.
Yeah, for real, like bionic men running there. Like, you guys did not tell us about this.
But all jokes aside, that's literally the same concept of like,
it is.
you're literally taking these people who probably know how to use a fucking bow and arrow,
And dude,
know how to
and
shoot a gun
their excuse,
to fight a
bro.
war.
Dude, yeah, and their excuse for why they don't tell them what they specifically say is basically they did a test group and it was too gnarly. And it's like, are you for real? These are civilian draft. These are drafted civilians for the biggest war in history, and you're gonna just throw them in and blindfolded. Like
That made no fucking sense to me
at all. Like, and you're right. Now that
and
you
then
say that,
also
go.
Go.
Well, what I was gonna say was I was agreeing with what you brought up. You're right. They backed themselves into a corner by not showing the monsters sooner.
Yeah.
Because think, if the movie started out and they got to train and there was a moment where they went over what they know about these aliens, how cool would that have been to got some backstory about these aliens?
Also,
that would have been kind of cool.
What I was going to talk about too, that would have been pretty sick. What I was going to say though is they had these people who already served. They had that one dude who served 3 times.
With the talent. Yeah.
And so I'm guessing there's probably other people who at least done it more than once. So I'm like, why not have these people train or at least inform?
Yeah, why? And dude, why was Chris Pratt in charge but not the guy with the talent? This is his first war or his first tour
to the fucking future.
Yeah, and the dude who has killed these things and
survived 3 times at least.
And on top of it, the dude wears their body parts as memories. Like, he is not in charge.
Biggest fucking plot hole of all time, bro. Or for the movie at least.
When his daughter, you're so right. That is the biggest plot hole. And I know, and I'll tell everybody why. Because I have the perfect example. That is the biggest plot hole. Because his daughter, when she first talks to him, she's like, I had no intention of bringing you here. So why did you make him the leader once you found out he was in fact here? And then the whole story became, wait, you were in the war. In my timeline, you probably ran into me and seen me die too, but I'm still super mad at you, Dad. I'm super mad that you weren't there and you were different after a war in the future. Yeah. And like, so when she said that, when she was like, oh, it was never my intention to bring you here, I was like, what the fuck? Like, so what?
Some fucking coincidental. It's a fucking tiny microverse, bro.
See,
I'm just kidding.
Dude, and for real, and this is a great full circle of what we first said. If the movie had ended with it being like, you cannot change history, that would have been dope. You know what I mean? Because then their whole point, but again, that brings you back to the point where you're like, why didn't they just tell them what the creatures look like and why they were there? Hey, we're actually here to erase this timeline. That's as simple as that. Your goal is to find a cure. Either find the queen or find the researchers.
Which, by the way, it seemed like both their timelines were happening simultaneously, because after the monsters destroyed the future base, the future home base, they couldn't send people back into the future.
Yeah, they remember in the beginning.
Which would suck, honestly, if you're from the future, went back into the past.
Yeah,
then you could probably become a millionaire or some shit, but would you though? Would you?
No, you wouldn't. Not in a war.
Now you're in a different timeline, technically.
Yeah, and that war never happened. So what would you really know?
That's true. Because that'd be like us knowing like who won the fucking World Series in like 1959. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I couldn't even tell you in fucking basketball who won in 1959.
But now, granted, if it was
bring
like
back the almanac, like fucking Back to the Future.
Yeah, like the pages.
The sports almanac.
Like, bro, yeah, and he puts in his hockey. He's like, I'm making money.
Hell yeah,
dude. So would I.
What are you doing, Morty? Oh, fucking goddamn it! What are you doing?
Oh my god, you just fucking mixed up the two fucking best things ever.
What's his name?
Are you talking about Doc? Are you talking about Doc?
The other dude.
Oh,
see, you almost did it too, bro.
I did. I almost said Morty.
What the fuck?
What's his name? Marty McFly.
There you go.
Marty McFly, yeah.
Jeez, that would have fucking been killing me, bro, if I didn't know that.
Dude, nah, bro. It's if they had just put that in there where it was like you can't change what is written in stone, basically. I was really
hoping they were going that route.
So did I, because if it ended that way, this is how initially when I text Ben and said, hey, the movie's on Amazon, you should watch it so we can review it. I I initially was like, yeah, Ben, initially his first thing he replied with was, I'm curious if they're going to make this good enough to set up a sequel. And I was like, I didn't even think this could be a cool ass, like, think about that. You have a war in the future and it's a trilogy. And it keeps expanding. I would have been like, fuck yeah, you guys just refreshed everything. But instead, they ended it.
Yeah. So I have this, which I think it would have made this even better. Make it like a 5-6 episode limited series. You know what I mean? So the first 2 episodes is he gets drafted, and then him in the future, and then
after, like the movie.
Yeah. And then after the second episode, he goes into the future, meets his daughter, and then maybe like she tells him everything, like, oh, you left and everything, and then at the maybe the third episode, go to her timeline and see how she grew up and how Chris Pratt was and how he died and everything, how she became who she was. Because I told you, I like the daughter and the father.
You like the relation? No.
But
you like the chemistry. You like the chemistry. Yeah.
Just like oh, you're like, this is my daughter from the future. I like that.
And I want to
so shallow. It was so shallow.
I want to chime in before you finish that too, because now that you say that, one thing that I did like was that he had never met this version of his daughter, but this really went to go show you in this movie how much this character was like, Chris Pratt's character was like only doing this for his kid, because he meets his daughter in the future and he's like, no, you're surviving. Like, I'm going to do everything. Take you back with me. Yeah. Either you're coming back with me or I'm coming back for you. And so like, now that you say that, the limited series idea with that concept
would have been way better, dude. Because then,
by episode 3 or 4,
like 3 or 4, you have like an episode or 2 of how she does it, or like just one episode of how, like, her whole background.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 episodes is him finding the cure and then going back to the past or whatever. And you know what I mean? Like, everything, like, if they would have done a limited series with this, it just would have been, in my opinion, so much better, because everything was so crammed and so tight, and everything was so shallow. It
was super bloated.
Here's this.
It was super bloated.
Yeah.
It was super bloated of a movie. Like it
was like crowded, but like very shallow. Like there's not, like I was saying, like with the father-daughter relationship, like it was like, what, like 2-3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes of them talking, and then like another minute of her like, no, I'm not gonna tell you, tell me. No, I'm not gonna tell you, tell me. No. Okay, well, this is what happened.
Yeah, you died in a car crash.
I'd never do that. You did.
Yeah,
I'd never do that. You did. And then it's like, okay, next scene.
Another dude, you just reminded me. Another example of where they fell really fucking short with characters. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Hold on, give me 1 second, because I want to name the actor's name, because he was one of my favorite, like, parts of
his the friend he got first drafted with, right? The science teacher dude.
The other scientist. Yeah. What's his name? I have it right here. Let's see. Sam Richardson. Bro,
we just talked about him. Yeah. Barely talked about him.
They fell seriously short in that relationship, in my opinion. When they got back, when they first got away from the explosion with all the white spikes,
yeah,
and they were okay, fucking the 3 of them, Chris Pratt, Sam Richardson, and the dude with the talon, what's his name, was it Keith Powers?
I think so.
I think it was Keith Powers. No, that's not him. That guy's way
that was
Edwin Hodge.
Yeah, his name is Dorian in the movie.
Yeah, Dorian. So when Edwin Hodge Dorian, the guy with the talon, when those 3 got back, there was a serious, strong chemistry between the 3. I was like, yo, if you split these characters up, I'm already gonna be like, you're down 3 stars out of 10. And so when they got split up, when they went and linked, when they had to go to a different tour, and Chris Pratt had to go meet his daughter, No,
I think they're in the same place. Remember, because he ended up hiding.
No, I know, but they all went to the same time because of when they died. But what I'm saying is they all got split up because at that scene, they were like, you two, you guys are scheduled to go back immediately or whatever.
Oh,
you're supposed to go meet Radio Bravo or whatever her code name was, and his daughter.
Yeah.
And when they split them up, dude, I was like, you guys just missed a
But no,
huge opportunity to
both
like.
of them had to have still been at the end on the boat because, well, they didn't show the other two. They were showing Chris Pratt because remember the dude came back and he was like, "Oh, you survived?" to the Edwin guy, and he was
Yeah.
like, "No, I was hiding." So they were on. I'm pretty sure they're on.
No,
the same.
I know, but what I'm saying is the same way you're talking
You're
about
just
how
talking about on screen, like on screen together.
yeah, I mean like how you met
They
with Chris
separate
Pratt
them.
and his daughter, how there was only like a really like good 5-minute powerful moment, you know? I wanted more moments between Chris Pratt, the science teacher, and the dude with the talent.
Yeah,
Because they when they were on scene, when they got back the first time and they were shitting on each other, they were all fucking with each other.
Yeah.
I was like, whoever wrote this scene should have done this for the whole movie. And like you said, the daughter should have been a bigger focus point because they had good chemistry. And then he should have had his new friends.
That's what I'm talking about, that limited series, dude, because they could have fleshed out a lot of these characters, and I would have fucking loved to seen how like the first contact with them in Russia, how that would have went down.
Hey, dude, you're so right. So the first episode or two could have been like the movie. Third episode could have been about the daughter, like you said, her version,
and how the world was impacted, and how because they don't even talk about how she became like fucking head of like the fucking chemistry or like biology.
They literally like, I was good in college. That's
and like I'm your daughter, or they stupid like that.
So like if it was like 7 episodes, the fourth episode could have easily been a episode about those two guys. Where it was, but you know what I really want to see when I say that? I want to see the science teacher as a side plot, but the focal point of the episode, like you're saying, this series, which is an amazing idea, the focal point for that episode for me that I'd want to see, like episode 4, dude with the talon and his first two tours, or his first 3 tours, where Chris Pratt's not involved, and it's like
I would love to see that, dude,
and how he got that talon,
because he's you know, right in the very beginning, he's the fucking asshole. He's like, "Shut up and fucking listen, dumbass," and shit. And then you get to know, like, oh, dude, this
sleep on him so core. Hey, you're cutting out.
Hold up.
You're frozen. There you go.
Okay.
But hold on, I did want to say that they slept. That's the third character for me. The dude with the talon, the daughter from the future, and the science teacher. The dude with the talon, they seriously slept on, because that scene when Chris Pratt is fighting him with the axe, it's corny, but I at that moment I was like, fuck that fucking beast up. But when that dude comes in and he's like, and he shoots him with the shotgun under the belly, I was like, show more of this guy.
Which, by the way, earlier, back to the plot holes too, just real quick. If they're especially telling these people and they don't know where to, like, they're fighting, at least tell them the weak points, the fucking neck and the belly.
Yeah, why didn't nobody? But dude, when I was watching the scene of them going down the stairs before that, the axe scene, when they're going down the stairs and Chris Pratt notices that something is wrong, he's like, "What the? I'm hearing something, but I'm not seeing anything."
You hear the clicking, and that's one of the.
But they're on the ceiling.
Yeah,
and he's like, "What the fuck?" So they keep going. My first thought when they first start shooting those things was, this dude has been to 3 tours. Why did nobody tell them that they use their body as armor?
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
That's true, dude.
Like, yo, like all of their top surface from jaw to the back of their butt, they use as armor. Like, why didn't know?
Try to, dude. See, this is what I'm saying, dude. This little
like
plot holes,
plot holes like that. Like,
this fool had very minor role, but he was major part of the ending.
Yeah, he's like in 15 minutes of the movie completely. Like, that's it. Not even that. Like 10 minutes probably.
And it's funny because the first time they show him, I don't remember why he went to him. He like needed advice or help or some shit. And he went up to Chris Pratt, went to go see him, which J.K. Simmons is Chris Pratt's dad in this movie. And I don't even remember because it just happened so fast. And it was like at the very beginning, he was like, "I need help," and he was like, "Oh, you want help from me?" And he like gave him some lip, and he was like, "Fuck you, Dad," and he just like left. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like it got nowhere. It was like, yo, your dad was about to help you avoid the war, and your ass was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna go to the war."
Oh, that's what it was. Okay,
yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, because he was being a dickhead, and he was like, "You know what? I don't want your help," and he left basically. And it was like, and then at the end, when he needs his help, he's like, "Okay, I need your help. I need a plane." He literally goes, "Oh, they say the kids only ever come to you when they need something."
Yeah.
And it's like, and it was like, a scene where you could tell before it happened they were trying to create a tearjerker by being like, this dad's gonna turn over his leaf. It's gonna be, he's all of a sudden gonna be all about his son. And that in that moment, it's funny that you bring up their meeting, because in that moment I knew for 100% sure the movie was gonna end with Chris Pratt introducing J.K. Simmons to his granddaughter. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Ever.
So everybody dies in the Tomorrow War. That's cool. But J.K. Simmons, like, I'm like, come on, man. You guys just paid him the most. That's it.
What I thought was cool though is how you said earlier, we were talking how the alien spaceship crashed.
Yeah.
And they found the aliens, but they were like, these aren't the fucking people. Like, these aren't the fucking people we find in the future. And then they had the frozen pods, bro. That was actually pretty fucking sick.
That was like, it reminded me super, super much of Prometheus, because in Prometheus, they use aliens as an accidental mutation.
This has like Terminator, fucking Back to the Future, fucking
aliens vibes.
Aliens,
yeah,
fucking,
dude. A little bit of
Marvel Z, fucking Marvel.
Yeah, bro. No, dude,
what's that other one? The Thing and shit, because he thawed out of ice. This took a lot of pages from different movies.
It did, and but you bring up something super valid. This is another fucking winning point for your concept of why this should have been a limited series, because episode 5, what could it have been? Or the last episode, what would it have been about? In my opinion, it would have been about how they save everybody and the backstory of the pilots of the alien ship and why they were delivering the
I wouldn't even be mad if they didn't tell us about it, but I'd love to see like how they crashed, or like maybe like,
dude, yeah, or
why
how
they crashed.
Yeah, like I just wanted to see. All I'm saying is more about what happened there, because then you have the potential for 2 seasons, because then people can be like, what's up with those aliens? Is Chris Pratt going to be in season 2? Is the daughter?
I mean, I thought I'd been fine with the limited series, because
so would I.
Dude, like,
so would I.
Just like 6-7 episodes would have been good enough, because there's just so much. Because I thought of it like this, remember the Queen's Gambit, that Netflix show? Imagine that was like an hour and 45. Imagine that 2-hour movie. That shit would have sucked, dude.
It would have
sucked. You can't cram all of that into a fucking.
No, that would have been
not even 2-hour movie.
No, that would have been boring as fuck too.
So it's like this movie had potential to be good as a limited series. Like, you don't have to make it fucking. I mean, they probably could have if they wanted to make it.
And they still could
5-season show or something like that.
No, they still could make it a limited series and just make it based on the movie and just run with
star power.
Yeah, just go smaller.
Or it's just in the same universe, just different perspectives from like different people.
Or just do the same story like 5 years from now, when people have forgotten about it, or even they'll be forgetting about it by tomorrow. But like, it's just like one of those things where you're totally right. It should have been a limited series. It was, as far as from start to finish goes, there are more garbage moments than good moments. However, there are good moments in the movie that make you go, like I said earlier, this is a movie that later down the line, when I'm like high as fuck or drunk as fuck, I will go, I want to watch something stupid, and I'll put it on.
It's a good movie to watch with like a bunch of friends or like family, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you have like more than like 3 or 4 people, it's a good one to just pop on and just be like, hey, check this out. Like, this is a good
I
one.
agree. Okay. I agree. Yeah, it's not the best. I said it over the text, and I agree with your opinion. If it was a limited series, I think that show would have been a 9 out of 10. But because what you pointed out about the Queen's Gambit, and if they tried to pack all of that into a 2-hour concept, because that, with what you just said, makes me 100% stick with my first rating of the show that I told you over text, easily a 4.5 out of 10. Yeah. Like, out of 10. Like, it fell seriously short in so many ways that it's like, yes, it was entertaining for the 2 hours or whatever it is, however long it is. But
45 minutes or something.
Yeah, like fucking whatever. It's for what it is. If it had been a limited series, like you just said, like your idea, and the episodes went the way we were talking about, that's a fucking hard 9, man. Dude, like, it would have been amazing.
You could chop that whole movie and then fucking stretch it out, dude. You know what I mean? Give it backstory. Give it, like, a lot of
imagine
stuff.
If they had done that. If they had filmed that movie and been like, you know what we're gonna do? we're gonna actually take this movie and cut it up.
The thing is, though, take the movie, cut it up.
I was gonna agree with what you said. If they had been like, we're gonna take this movie and cut it up and put it into show format, I would have been like, oh, forget about it. This movie's hella good. Like,
Dude.
but they just really dragged it out. There was too much info for the limited time that they had. The on-screen meetings between relationships of like father and daughter, and
Father-daughter, father-daughter, father-son.
Yeah, best friends. It just war buddies, whatever. They missed.
Too quick. It happens too quick. You know what I mean?
They focused on things that I could have done without, in comparison to all the things that they seriously missed, like providing extra info about, like you said, dude. The ender could have been. It was the ender was
so stupid. Dude.
The ender was like like I said, so it was whatever.
But
they could have made it way better.
The final fight was kind of anticlimactic, though. Dude, and they took another page from The Walking Dead. Fucking, he injected the virus into his arm, and fucking the monster just ripped it off. I was like, Walking Dead.
Seen that shit.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, damn.
I seen that.
The Walking
and
Dead.
That scene I knew was gonna happen the moment they did it.
I thought it was like, hilarious, honestly.
I literally,
I was like, that's fucking smart.
He injected it into him, and my first, like I
said, the monster's hand.
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna bite it, or she's gonna bite it off. That creature's gonna bite it off, and sure shit, the queen bit it off. And I was,
you're hella right. His head is like a big alien reference. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's like I said, it could have been really good. And now that you say the limited series idea, I'm like, man, I hope there's a fan out there that really liked it, that goes, I'm going to turn this into a limited fan series, because I would watch that fan series.
I would watch it too.
That's so
also,
hardcore.
With that, though, they probably couldn't do it is fucking all the people they had, or at least J.K. Simmons and Chris Pratt would just be way too expensive. They
wouldn't. No,
they want like $500,000 per episode, bro.
Yeah, they would never do it. They would never do it. But like I said, I wouldn't mind if they just recasted it in like 5 years. You know what I mean?
Or just have it in the same fucking timeline, and just it's canon and everything. That movie's canon, but you're seeing it from like other people's
different perspective,
yeah,
like you said. Yeah, I like that idea too. Like,
I mean, like there's a lot of ways they can go with it if there was,
and that is a great way to bring back those characters we said we liked, because they're not as famous. You know what I mean? All of those characters we named are not A-listers. So
besides Chris Pratt and J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, no. I meant like his the girl from Dexter, the two friends, the science teacher, and the guy with the talent.
And like, Gail the snail from Always Sunny.
I would if she hadn't died, I would have been like, fuck yeah, throw her in there, because her and that dude I brought up that died under the bridge, I like those characters. I was like,
it was funny. I was like, wow, she actually's in a movie. Like she's always she's been in stuff in here and there. It makes sense when I thought she was gonna have a bigger role.
No, she probably got
when
paid,
she died. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
she probably got paid like $10,000, and she spent that on coffee the next day.
Right. fucking paid fucking a quarter of my rent.
Yeah, no shit, bro. A quarter, yeah. My rent in New York for my loft is very expensive.
But like we were saying, the ending was stupid because everybody survived, and Chris Pratt was like, Here's your grandpa, little girl, my fucking daughter that's gonna grow up to be a fucking crazy.
It's a happy ending. It's a typical happy ending. Like damn, super cliche.
Everybody has their limbs and fingers and eyeballs, and all the worst is like they look like they just drank too much vodka and they're just hella red. Yeah, that's all that happened to them.
Yeah, and they like did something they regretted the night before. That's
Chris Pratt like fucking twisted his ankle, and that's all.
Yeah, bro, and like
his sprained ankle.
Dude, they could have done a lot more. They really could have. That's not a movie that I would recommend to a single person to watch, like you said, like a individual. But like
you've
you
never seen
out,
a sci-fi movie, if you're like fucking 12 or 13, this shit will blow your mind.
Oh, you'll like it if you're young.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, yeah. If you're a younger guy, you'll
under
probably
like 16 and you never really watched movies.
Maybe
if you're under like 21, let's say that. And
if you're a youngster,
movies and you like don't know anything about sci-fi and old school stuff. And when I say Terminator, I don't mean fucking the new Terminator in Genesis. I'm talking about fucking 1980s Terminator.
Yeah,
bro.
the first
people
two.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are like, you don't have to explain this, but I'm sure there's gonna be a few who are like,
yeah,
Terminator sick.
Yeah, bro. Now
I'm
the
fucking
first
18 and I'm drinking fucking Mountain Dew. Nah.
He's like, I'm drinking Michelobes, bro. Michelobes. No, but no, dude. I mean, all in all, I agree with your opinion on it. I really like the idea of that have been a limited series instead, though. And that to me, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, I would. If there's ever a future time where they make a limited series of that, I'll watch it for sure. Especially, I don't like a lot of Amazon shows, but lately they have, like, after Invincible and like all this new stuff they're dropping, I'm like, oh, they're getting better. Like, they're clearly getting better at what they're doing.
They're kind of doing. I kind of feel like they're doing a Netflix thing where they're just kind of flooding.
Yeah,
just to have content. You know what I mean?
They are, for sure. They are. I don't like a lot of the shit they release. Same with Netflix.
I've tried so hard. When I first got Amazon, I was like, oh shit, there's a lot. This one show, I think it's called Upload on Amazon. Hard recommend, honestly. It's good. Dope. It's dude, it's hilarious. No spoilers or anything because this happens in the first episode, but this dude gets in a car accident and they have this like happily ever after life. If you don't want to die, or if you're dying, they pretty much scan your head, but it fucking it scans it off, so it like uploads your head, and they freeze your body to preserve it. So like whatever cure or whatever they could.
Okay, I see.
But your mental, like your head is in the computer.
Yeah.
But you're stuck in like pretty much a server with other people, but it's just hilarious because the reason why he gets there is his girl. Like I said, this is all in the first episode. No spoilers. The reason why he gets there is his girlfriend's hella rich, and like her dad owns one of those companies. And it's hella funny though, because after he gets in the car accident, they're like, she sees him and he's like, "Get him out of there! I don't want him in there." And he sees his girlfriend. He's like, "Oh, there you are!" And he's like hella dazed and shit. He's trying to get up, and then it just scans his fucking head, and then now it's just because when it scans your head, like I said, it takes your whole head off, bro. Like it just cuts your head off, and then the body just falls on the ground, and she's like, "Ah!" It's just hilarious.
I'll have to watch it. It sounds like Netflix's show Altered Carbon a little bit.
Oh, that's another one I never got to watch.
I highly recommend the first season of that.
There's another anime on there that's made by the same, at least artist from Castlevania that's on there. I forget what it's called, but it looks fucking good. I was gonna watch it the other night, but ended up watching. Actually, I was gonna watch it last night, but ended up watching that movie.
Yeah, unfortunately. No, man. Yeah, dude. Amazon. I mean, they could really hit home with like a limited series show that was like that killed it, kind of like Stranger Things did for Netflix. Where once Stranger Things came out, everybody knew Netflix was like, oh, this is a studio. Like they're making movies and TV shows.
I think it kind of peaked though. Stranger Things peaked with season 3.
Well, they're fucking done. This is gonna be
they're gonna make a season 4, bro.
They have the new trailer.
It's like coming out. Yeah, I think they have like 5 trailers now or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
and it looked horrible. I was like, oh my god, the show fell off. Like I don't even think I'll watch it, to be honest.
I hated number 3, honestly, especially the ending, which spoilers when they do the never-ending story song.
Yeah,
it just felt so like you're in the middle of like this heist and you're trying to get out, and the fucking Russians are about to bust into the door any moment, and all of a sudden, never-ending story. I was like,
yeah,
this is derailing the shit, but for whatever reason, people fucking yucked it up.
Talking about Stranger Things, right?
Yeah,
dude.
The last episode, or like the second to last episode.
Dude, I like I said, the first season was incrable. Second season was pretty.
By
damn
the way,
good.
they look like babies in the first season. When
I know. I especially.
Like, what are you gonna play for your D&D thing?
Yeah, dude. I watched one of whatever her name is. What is it? Is it like 12 or 7 or something like that?
Yeah, 7.
I watched
11.
11. I watched 7-Eleven's movie, and no, I watched 11's movie. One of her new movies. It's about Sherlock Holmes' little sister, and it was fucking horrible. It was horrible, bro. It's called what?
Oh, my bad. I heard explosion. I was gonna say critics fucking raved about that movie, but if you ask any like fucking person that watched it, they were like, no, yeah, exactly.
Nah, dude, it's called Alana Holmes, and it's horrible. I was like, I can't pay attention
unless you're like a
moment
15,
of this.
Unless you're like a 9 to like 15-year-old girl, or
a 9-15-year-old boy just watching it. You know what I mean?
15-year-old
kid,
in general, kid, then fucking
for real.
you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, so like that show did fall off, but Amazon really could do something dope with the Tomorrow War if they actually woke the fuck up.
Right. But yeah, so like I'm glad we watched it. Again, we did a review of this. It's a little something fresh that just came out. Like I said, Chris Pratt is just kind of like a typecaster now. He's either gonna be
Yeah.
this funny, quirky guy, or he's just gonna be the serious like. And then he like this role reminded me of him in Jurassic Park.
Oh
He
yeah.
was like, "What are you doing, Blue? Click, click. What are you doing, Blue? Click, click." You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Come
like
on now. Don't
exactly, dude.
you get back in line and we're gonna have a problem. Yeah, like that.
Exactly,
It was like serious, but like you said, comedic still to it, goofy to a degree,
Yeah.
an extent. Whatever, man. If you end up watching it and liking it, more power to you. But I don't. For me, I'm like they really missed an opportunity there to make something that would have been like awesome to have in the collection.
I think they kind of just thought this would be make him a quick 100 million or something. You know what I mean?
Well, they'll make their budget back in streaming numbers, but probably not for like 2 months.
You know what I mean? Though this is like they probably had something, and then somebody was like, you know what, let's cut corners. You know? What
Yeah,
I mean?
I think so. I think so. I think they spent way too much money.
Let's make it Hollywood as fuck on the effects. They spent money on the effects.
The other thing that could have saved this movie is if a smaller filmmaker and studio took it over. And if that person was super into sci-fi and they were like, this is my poster, baby. Like, I'm going to make this something that people go, it's going to be on repeat for the next 10 years. Like a passionate filmmaker,
Yeah.
I think then it would have had potential to be like a 2-hour movie of something where they kind of cleaned up the plot holes. Because if you think about it, if they just cleaned up the plot holes, the movie would have been okay, at the least okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, they had just like we said, they just had to flesh them out, dude. Just give them more time to fucking, you know what I mean? Just give these characters more fucking identity. Give them more of like a fucking like squishiness. Like I want to know what the fuck's going on with some of them.
More of a screen presence for sure.
Exactly, more backstory and stuff. But so out of this movie, I'll probably give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean you were about the same. Yeah,
it's halfway there. It's just missed a lot of
missed
opportunities.
You know what? That's the best way to put it. It's halfway there. Like it really is, because if you think about it, you're like, the movie's not garbage. It's just they're halfway there. They had this great. In fact, if they wanted to, if they had made it a limited series, think about this, dude. Think about this.
That's why I wanted to tell you over the text, but I was like, this will have more impact if we fucking.
Dude, if they had made it a limited series, how fucking cool would it have been if it was one season, like you said, and then they made a comic book run? I'd be like, yo,
I just made its own universe and shit.
Its own universe, and like,
that'd be fucking sick. That'd be fucking sick, dude. That
would be fun. Like, they could do so much. Like, as time progresses, think how cool it would be to see all the issues come out, and in like one issue way later down the line, you get to see Chris Pratt's bloodline in the future and all the stuff that they accomplished, and it's like.
They're all the chosen ones.
Yeah, like, or just like, dude, we changed the world. Like, we stopped the war, but on top of it, we now use their bodies
or
for science.
What if the aliens came back and fucking, you know what I mean? They wanted, I don't know,
another invasion, or what if we went to them? Like, all of a sudden they're like, we're taking the war to them. Like,
sick. We're gonna erase it. We're gonna make them go extinct.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking commit genocide on these creatures. Like, and like, I think that they had a lot of potential to make this, like you said, a universe that would have been awesome. Like, but instead they made this one-off movie.
No, you said that was you. You said the universe. Then.
Okay,
well,
but yeah,
I said universe, but you brought up the whole like continuing continuity.
All the story arcs and shit.
Yeah.
But they really, really could have done that. And instead, like you said, it feels like watching it, you're like, these guys cut corners.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. You guys freaking rock. Don't forget to check out the description for Cultcanon's channel. Like I said, a lot of content. Got some new walkthroughs going on. I got
Hey, I
Food
checked out.
reviews,
I was watching your Paper Mario clone earlier. What's it called? A bug
Bug
something?
Fables,
Bug Fables.
the
Um,
Sapling's Tale or something like that.
Bro, I love that. When I seen that you uploaded that, I immediately clicked on it and started watching it. And I was watching it while playing video games. I was like, this is the only reason I didn't comment is because for whatever reason I'm logged into the wrong account on my YouTube. And
it's all
I
good,
don't
man.
like commenting with that account. But
But yeah, like I said, link in the description. Check everything out. Hope you guys like
hey,
this.
anybody watching, check the new merch.
Or check it out.
Check the new merch. That
Looking
shit
pretty
is
fresh,
so
bro.
it's so dope, bro. It's like me and him are it's like we're right next to each other.
Right.
I'm gonna reach over and pet his head. No, I'm just kidding.
What
No,
the
but
fuck?
but yeah, this merch is fucking fire. I just got a big ass tapestry today. I showed it to you.
Description, people.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Everybody have a good one. For good 4th of July. Hope everybody's safe and be nice to
safe.
everybody, people.
For sure.
Shnerdcast out.
Out.